Is there an issue between you and the Bengals? Do you want to go play for him? Any form or format of what gives from the media to Joe Burrow? What are you hearing amongst your evaluators, scouts, and your contacts? Is there any smoke? Is there a fire? What do we got here on the Burrow and Bengals front, Todd?
I'm actually really close with Jordan Palmer, and he's training with Jordan Palmer.
Yep.
And obviously Carson Palmer has said what he said. To be completely honest with you, I haven't asked Jordan yet because I hate asking blunt questions like that to put people on the spot. But I'm going to have to ask him when I see him on Tuesday, tomorrow, and just see what he says, because it's becoming such a situation, and everyone in the league is kind of talking about it, and it's all rumors. And any question that he's answered, if you really go look at the context, it's because he's been asked that. And he comes up, he's a different cat if you meet with him. I've met with him a couple times, 30 minutes at a time, and he's a little bit of a different cat in that he doesn't care what you think. And I remember, Brian Greasy and I have done games for the last few years, and we walk out of meetings, especially with quarterbacks, and Brian's as intelligent as anyone I've ever been around in terms of evaluating quarterbacks and just knowing the position. And every time we walk out, we usually, I would say 9 out of 10 times, usually we'll say, oh, that guy was impressive. And he'll be like, yeah, and vice versa. Or I'm not so sure. With Joe, we walked out of the room, and I was like, what'd you think? And he's like, I don't know what to think. I was like, I don't either. And then you get to know him a little bit more, and it's just that he's so confident in himself, and he kind of attacks the quarterback position like a linebacker because his brother played linebacker. His dad's a 20-plus year coach. His other brother played safety, and both at Nebraska. I mean, he's just kind of a tough guy playing the quarterback position. And so everything about his personality tells me that he's not the type of guy that's going to say no or try to pull an Eli Manning and force a trade and those sorts of things. But the fact that he spent all this time with Jordan Palmer and around Carson Palmer a little bit and knowing that he wants to compete and win, it makes me concerned that there could be something there.
No, I know. And then the connection to T.J. Houshmandzadeh's working with him as well.
Exactly. And the wide receivers there.
He has given more voice to the, be careful about going to the Bengals front. I mean, I'm paraphrasing. And then just his comment where he said that he had leverage at one point. And again, I might be taking it completely out of context, but he did drop that L word. And the question is look, you don't have leverage in terms of how long your contract is or what you're paid. You're slotted. So what is the leverage then? What leverage do you have let's put it this way. What leverage is there to exact unless you intend not to go? Right. So that's really the only leverage. And trying to force and maybe trying to force Cincinnati to, and when free agency starts very soon, force them or at least put pressure on them to go out and get some players and try to get some wide receivers and try to get a better supporting cast around them. Although, they've got talent. If everyone's back healthy for the Bengals, they've got talent on the offensive side of the ball. So, the leverage thing was the only one that was interesting because it is a trigger word. And what is the leverage? The leverage is I'm going to try to force a trade. But the problem, if you're Cincinnati, who are you going to trade with? If you move to 5 and there's a proposed deal, you move to 5 with the Dolphins and get a bunch of picks, you could all of a sudden, wake up and Burrow's gone, Tua's gone, and now you better love Justin Herbert. And I don't see Justin Herbert from Oregon as a top 10 pick, in my opinion. You don't?
He probably will go in the top 10. I just don't see that. I don't see that on tape. I see inconsistency. I think there's potential there. I think he can develop. I think Jordan Love from Utah State has a lot of potential as well, but he's even further away from being ready to play in the NFL. My point is there are 2 quarterbacks in this draft. And if you don't get one of those 2, and Joe Burrow and Tua Tagovailoa, then you're on the outside looking in. And I just don't have any strong conviction in any of the other quarterbacks past those 2.
Well, and Todd McShay here on the Rich Eisen Show. Let's game this out a little bit more. Because the Bengals do have, and I know Bengals fans may not want to hear it, it's not like the cupboard's totally bare. I mean, Andy Dalton is there, right? I mean, so you could technically stay the course there. There is Trevor Lawrence next year for whatever sweepstakes you might want to throw your hat in that ring.
For more of The Rich Eisen Show, tune to Audience Channel 239 on DirecTV for free on BR Live or download The Rich Eisen Show app.